Ahead in Kayak Camping the South Branch Potomic River, Part 3.
Don't be a cow patty.
We're officially in camp mode. Sometimes you struggle to find that camp spot. I was trying to get you to go there. I thought it would have been better for your canoe. Oh shoot, she's missing it. Back paddle out of it. Back paddle out of it. Go through that rapid backwards. Backwards. You all right? You good? So Dana and Brielle are coming up on it now. I'm gonna send them river left so they don't have that, they don't get broached like Amanda did. Amanda got broached trying to go this way, so I didn't want to send you that way. Good job. So we continued down the South Branch Potomic River in search of that perfect campsite for the night. Though it wasn't quite time to start looking yet, it was getting closer. I was feeling optimistic because the campsites had pretty much continued almost all day. Even in the trough, there were a couple spots where we could have camped.
Yeah, you probably need to be over here far.
Yeah, over this way, guys.
Far
So
left.
though we weren't looking yet, I was pretty confident when the time came we would definitely be able to find something without much issues.
Move out of the way.
Don't be a cow patty. They're just showing you their butt shape. They're not showing you the good side.
Oh, I thought that was the good side.
Does it depend?
pretty fast little chute there. Got up to about 7. So the characteristics of this river have changed quite a bit. We are getting the pebble beach rocks back, so that's kind of consistent. But it's feeling more kind of, I don't know, it's kind of neat because it's low lying, but then like there's like a cliff in front of me. So it's pretty cool. So this one's a little dangerous up here. If you want to run it, make sure you put your life jacket on. It goes right into a strainer. You can run it, but it's going to be heavy right paddles. But you could get caught up underneath that log too, so you got to be careful if you want to run it. Yeah, you can walk it. You can walk if you want to walk it. It's not necessarily a huge rapid, but the flow's weird and it goes right into the strainer. So with that advice, Brian decided to walk the rapid. I would go down first and lead the way. Like I told them, this wasn't a huge rapid, but it did have flow going right into a strainer if you weren't careful.
Yeah, good job.
That felt good. I think my right arm.
Paddle hard. There you go, good job. Perfect. Good job.
So as we come down this rapid here, we are officially in camp mode. We have less than 6 miles to take out, so we are going to start looking for a camp. Yeah, you got to go up there on top. You see that?
Yeah, you gotta climb.
Yeah, but then how am I
You're
gonna?
gonna go up top. Someone will have to hand it to you. Want me to hand it to you? Down low. You're gonna have to lead them because I'm not as tall as I thought I was.
I don't like the high part.
Okay, well you tell me when you're there, because then I'll try to hike this up to you. Go.
You've been talking about a rope swing.
I know, but
Like,
You can do this. Get up there. Let's go. As long as you tuck your legs, you're fine.
I'm sorry. It's like,
and hold on. You have to hold on too.
Come on, Amanda, just go. Just go do it. It's gonna be hard for me to get this. I might need a stronger, taller person. Brian?
I'm not tall.
I'm not involved in this. Brian, I need your help right now. Come on. Your littlest cousin needs your support.
high up.
Amanda, you got this. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh my god, I can't even.
Okay. Brian will catch you if you fall.
We have to get this. If you hold that there, I can try to give it this truck. She can't even get it. Amanda, this is what you've been talking about all weekend. This is I'm so scared.
Just make sure you hold on tight.
No, do it. You don't have Dana, get some pictures. Alright.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Alright, listen. No, I think this is really No, I think this is amazing. Okay. It's a bad idea. So, I'm gonna do it. Just, you put your feet on the knot. Really tight. Tuck your legs in. Put your hands higher.
Is anyone here an EMT by chance?
I
No?
know
Okay.
some first aid, but I'm not an EMT. Like that. For the cut? You're good. Ready? Set. Go, Amanda. Go.
Yeah!
I'm good now, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Man, that is a pretty epic.
So she had been talking about that rope swing, or a rope swing, because we've been seeing them all trip long. Like every 5 minutes we hear rope swing, rope swing. I want to do a rope swing. She did a rope swing and she mastered it. Fantastic job. Super exciting.
I guess I just don't worry about finding a campsite because the river always gives you something.
So we are looking for a camp spot. We just went by a giant campground and they were having a party, let me tell you. So there is a break here for the next little bit, and then there's going to be another big campground. So ideally, we're hoping to find something before the next campground. Worst case scenario, there's a giant island right before the takeout, and that would probably work. But we're hoping not to go that far before we find something. We were finding places on the surface look like they could be a campsite, like on the right here, but then you look a little closer and there's a big house right behind it, so clearly not an option there. So we are coming up on another campground here on our right. We did not find anything in between these campgrounds. There was some farmland, cow pasture. We didn't realize that at first. That does not work. So we're just trucking along here. We're gonna find something. We just gotta have hope. We're gonna find something, and it's gonna be wonderful too. It's gonna be the best site on the face of the planet. Yeah, that's definitely the case. So the whole first half of this river, first half of this run, it was campsite anywhere you looked you could camp. It was honestly incredible. As we get down here, there's campgrounds and stuff, and a lot of cow pastures, and it's just making it hard to find that place to call home for the night. Hey, Mr. Cow. Cows, which way is the best way to run this? Is it center or left? Huh? I'm talking to the cow. I'm trying to figure out where the line is to run this.
I think this is the edge of the field right here. So anything after this is fair game, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's really steep right there. Let's go down below this rapid.
Yeah.
So we had now reached the end of a really long cow pasture area on the left side of the river, and the reason why this was important is because this was an area we were hoping to find a camp spot between the riverbank and the train track that was up above on the hill. Quite often this property is not private property, which is a plus. And also, a lot of times you can find like a shelf that you can camp on somewhere between the shoreline and the train tracks. So that's what we were kind of hoping this would turn into on the left side of the river. So this is the thing about kayak camping in this kind of style. Sometimes you struggle to find that camp spot. Sometimes, like yesterday, it just works out. So right now there isn't much. There's a campground, another campground starting on our right, and on our left, you know, is a place that I like to look is between the river and train tracks. But it's just too steep. We saw one little shelf back there, rated at an F-. So we elected to continue downriver instead of taking that spot. So 5 of us, you know, in a little tight shelfy area, not ideal. We'll find something. There's a couple options coming up here. There's a wildlife area. And there is an island right before the takeout, a huge island. So we didn't want to go that far. We wanted to find something by now, but you know, you can only take what the river gives you. So you can't be too upset about it. You just gotta continue paddling, continue looking. Right now it is 6:29 p.m. The sun doesn't like fully set until 8:30, 8:45, something like that. So we still have daylight, but we are definitely in the evening hours at this point, and the sun is definitely starting to get a little bit sleepy. So we're just gonna keep looking for this spot and hopefully find it soon. So I've found a spot here where I can get up. This is what I'm going to check out to see if this could potentially be a spot. That might work.
Are we migrating?
Just right down here. Not far. So after a long 19-mile day, we found that place to call home for the night. It wasn't great. In fact, it wasn't even that good. But the girls had just more than doubled what they had ever paddled in a single day. And I could tell you one thing. They weren't going to go any further. They were stopping here, and they were staying here for the night. So we have found home for the night, and it is just a wonderful campsite. One of the best you're ever going to see.
Yeah, this is great.
So actually it's pretty awful, but we're going to make it work. Brian actually brought my hammock for me as a backup, so I am going to utilize that, I believe. Although the tent was super comfortable, so that kind of sucks. But so if we go up on this hill, it's just really high grass. So trying to avoid that. So down here on the bank, we have trees. Some of them are sort of hanging over these rocks, but not like amazingly. So I'm gonna try to rig something up there.
Still living. The kale's still okay out there. No, it went to Hunter's.
Yeah, that's what happened earlier when I laid down. I was like, oh no.
Though the campsite wasn't perfect, we still had this awesome beach where we could get this fantastic fire as the night faded into morning. So I actually went with the hammock last night, and Brian has a hammock. And the three girls, they all slept in the inflatables. Two inflatables they kind of shared and made it work for all three of them. I think a lot of them are still sleeping, so I'm not going to go all the way over there. But we all used the bottom portion of this beach, this rocky area. If you go up the hill, if you keep going, there are train tracks eventually, and there is a shelf. There's a couple shelves of where you can put stuff, but the problem is it's really high grass. So none of us really wanted to be in that, so we did what we could do to avoid that. I threw my hammock up. Brian has his hammock up, and down on the far side, that's where they were sleeping in their inflatables. And I'm starting to see some of them waking up now. So yeah, I actually slept really good in the hammock last night. So a couple nights ago, slept great in the tent. Last night, slept great in the hammock. So that's good. So we're gonna be starting to make breakfast here shortly and get on the river. The hope is to get on the river by 9. We only have about 2, maybe a little over or a little under 2 miles left. So definitely not a lot of paddling today, which is good because a lot of us have some pretty far drives today. So we ended up making it about 19 miles today. So that was the most any of the girls had done, period. So it was a pretty hefty day of paddling, and on top of it, the current wasn't amazing. The second half of yesterday was better than the first half. The second half ended up being, a decent current, maybe 1.5 to 2 miles an hour. So it wasn't like awful, but it wasn't amazing either. But it was a good day, a beautiful river, and it's still beautiful out here. It's always sad on that last morning, but it's always refreshing too, because you're like, oh, I accomplished all this, and I just have this left. And it was a successful trip. But they they got to learn that you can't always find your campsites exactly when you want it. That's just the way of the way of the river. Sometimes you end up with not amazing campsites, and this one certainly, if we would have had a water rise, would have been very bad. But there hasn't really been any rain, and but I will say, even if we had a water rise, we were able to retreat up the hill, so we would have been fine. But yeah, definitely not the campsite that we had the first night. But hey, it's still all worked out. We're gonna get on with this morning, enjoy the beautiful morning, and leisure morning on the water as we make our way to our destination. So we are having a gourmet breakfast this morning. Potato left over from the fire last night, pancakes and eggs.
And kale.
Oh, and kale. I didn't realize that.
Cool, because I was busy cooking my eggs in the shed. I don't know what to say.
So here, morning day 3, just put in on shore. We look back there, we got Brian, he's pretty much ready. Amanda's still doing some packing up, she's getting there, she'll be there soon. Dana and Brielle, they're ready to go, so we'll be putting on the water shortly and heading down river.
See, look. You not paddling, me not paddling. Look at the speed difference.
Yeah, you're right.
You're going like, it's like 5 seconds, you're like 10 feet out of me. It's pretty wild, actually.
So as we get on the river for the final morning of our trip, we only had about 2 miles to the takeout. So this was going to be a nice leisure paddle to get there. Was just going to take our time and enjoy the water as we make our way down. So we're just kind of going down the river, taking our time as we get toward the takeout here. Just looking for other places that may have worked for campsites that maybe would have been better than what we chose. And so far, I think we're at 2. Just eyeballing from the shore. We're going by an island right now on our right, on our left. It's a pretty big island. But it looks like, would have been able to find a place on this island. But I mean, what we had worked. But what we had worked, we just kind of thinking, if we come back here in the future, what else might work. I think we got to go try to the. I want to say right, but it looks low over there. It looks low on the left too. That might be a nice campsite up in there too. Actually, yeah, it looks good. Pretty cool spot. The campsites seem to be opening back up, kind of like they were at the beginning of the trip, and because I've seen 3-4 spots in the last mile we've been paddling since we actually camped. I don't know if a camera caught any of that. That was pretty wild.
Is this? We're like pretty much there, aren't we?
Yeah, that's why we wanted to make sure we waited, because we think we have to go left here. This is a big island. Paddle. So we were now in the home stretch. All we had left was a nice, calm paddle around the left side of an island to get to our takeout that would be on the river left. Dana and I had discussed this trip in the fall of 2022, and I started looking at some rivers kind of in the middle and came up with the South Branch Potomac. I think everyone who went on this trip will agree that it was long overdue. Unfortunately, when so many miles separates, you from the other part of your family, if you will, you don't get to spend the time together that you'd like to. So here is to hoping that this becomes a tradition that only grows for the future and a way for us to strengthen bonds with family. So enough of the sappiness. At the end of the day, This was another fantastic trip on a great river. Wish we would have had a little more water running, but at the end of the day, it all worked out and was another good trip on the water.
Before I'm done hiding from all my failures, waiting to see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn on my broken heart.